Hi, you are watching Sites Plus, and this is Romesh. Please to subscribe the channel for the HR news, by HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, top leaders, and business heads. Today, we are going to discuss green HR, that is a key part of sustainability. Joining us, Mr. Viekas K. Khokha is the Chief Human Resource Officer at Sharda Motor Industries, and Mr. Gurdeep Singh is Group Head HR at Zuari Industries Limited. Because before I start the panel discussion, very first I would like to share a study. That study is by the Gallup, and according to Gallup, around 80% of the organizations they are using the ESG practices in HR functions. Before this panel discussion, also I did a small poll on WhatsApp channel that is having around 45,000 of members. So we put the similar question: is your organization incorporating ESG practices in HR function? So interestingly, the response is almost similar. You can say around 76%, 77% people are saying yes. So there's no doubt that ESG is coming into the HR mainstream. So my first question would be, because to you, that how do you see what is the lead HR according to you, and how do you see its increasing trend, and how do you see its importance in today's business landscape?
See, I thank you for bringing this topic across to me. I am able to get this just I'm able to get this piece actually through in terms of understanding the need through business. You know, I never actually link HR separately. I keep it with business as a business partner. When I look at the focus of organization into ESG, I look at uh, HR partnering with the business in accomplishing that. Now, is HR solely able to do that? No. HR is able to contribute it through various modes and build it as a part of business plan to deliver. So, yes, I understand it's a very, very critical phenomena because we have to be environment friendly, when we deliver our services. And when I look at any area of HR, whether it is employee engagement, uh, attracting new talent, or either even building processes, managing employee headcount, managing employer brand, I see everywhere contribution into this space by HR. And these are all the spheres through which HR delivers the services to business to accomplish those goals.
So Gurdeep, how do you define the green HR, and how do you see its rising trend currently?
Green HR is basically integration of environmental management into human resource practices. And to promote sustainability in the workplace, it includes environment conscious HR policies, decision making, promoting green values among the employees, and supporting an organization's sustainability and CSR, corporate social responsibility objectives. So basically, green energy these days are paperless work. Okay, and then you do a lot of plantation during CSR activities, and there is also a trend of giving a plant on the exit day of the employees. So this is how we abide by the green HR. Okay, and most of these practices are these days paperless. Okay, and onboarding is also these days through digital handbook, and also performance management system integrates green performance indicators, sustainability goals into employees appraisal. So this is how we work in Zuari group.
So you have taken lots of HR functions named that where we can see the incorporation of the ESG practices. But there's also we also did a poll on this. What are the functions where we see the maximum incorporation of the ESG practices before the talent acquisition? So that is on the top. So maximum users we see in the talent acquisition, then might be in HR, some compliances part, then we can see also in the engagement part. So how do you, if I talk to you, especially with your organization, how do you incorporate these practices, green HR practices in talent acquisition or in engagement part or in other HR functions?
I think multiple ways, Romesh. One is if we talk of building green recruitment and selection practices, we'll focus on actually recruiting candidates who are passionate about sustainability, who have knowledge or experience in this field, right? We'll try to build it. So this is built as one of the additional competencies when you hire people. Uh, Aligning uh, also our processes to eco-friendly practices. And I'm taking one example where you used to have physical CVs going from table to table, and I think now getting into automated tools to be able to get the entire, recruitment process automated, to be able to bring that. Uh, I'm moving from recruitment to another important phenomena of training and development, providing, because you have a lot of workforce who's not exposed to this. So you have to provide training programs on environmental management, sustainability, and resource conservation, so that you can bring this change out by building it with your workforce. It could be built as an annual plan, like you do it for other subjects. You can do it for this also. I'm also talking of performance management, integrating sustainability practices within your goals and objectives, so that people perform it. And I know that at unit level, at factory level, we have each unit HR carrying a goal of sustainability in that. And also, I'm goals is linked to rewards. So I think bringing rewards out there for people who have outperformed or who have performed in that area, right? Uh, Again, in our own way, in when we talk of our head office, we have built flexible work environment, including remote working, so that people start reducing their time to office. Uh, you know, uh, and also, I'm not here talking about that, but carbon emissions and everything, which is an indirect component, gets consumed completely when you are remotely working. So we have a flexibility of working at our HO, where 2 days people can work from anywhere, and 3 days they are supposed to be working from our office, and try and build that, so that it is also productive for us. We are in process of renovating our workforce, so we are looking at vendors who can provide us eco-friendly practices within the workplace, where you could have a natural lighting, more glass use, and also associating with energy efficient lighting system. So we have put that into considerations when we are selecting a vendor. uh, I've already talked of paperless office consideration when we look at our recruitment system, but otherwise also we look at wherever it can reduce the use of paper. I think more and more less consumption of paper is being. So I'm just able to give you some of the examples where, as an HR, I'm bringing in a change in people. Time and again, on some of these, the communication is going to employees, and employees are being able to get hold of what we could do to bring a change, because it's a journey. We can't set stiff targets around this, but it's a journey. So how we can bring that change, and same phenomena can be used to be able to take it forward through various other department heads.
No, absolutely. You have pointed out very important some of the practices that may be the remote working. So definitely it is helping to the reducing the carbon emission. You talked about the paperless. So paperless, that is a great contribution for the environment. You are helping for the sustainability here. Remote working, paperless, and you have also highlighted about the KRAs and KPIs, how that is being the part of your performance management. So definitely that is a big boost that is helping into the ESG part, sustainability. But because this is not a though it is everyone's responsibility. This is not the responsibility of any specific person. This is everyone's responsibility, sustainability. But when we talk about the culture part, so this is sometime leadership driven. How do you see we can build a culture of sustainability where we talk about the HR, especially as a HR professional. How do you see we can build a culture in an organization where ESG is a agenda, core agenda?
I think very rightly pointed out, unless there's a cultural change, you can't bring it ethos of that and practice that, because eventually culture change will bring in everybody to follow that, and ensuring the right kind of practices which will ensure this is followed. Otherwise it can be a stick rule, right? We say that you keep checking on people. Culture change for myself, because I've seen a lot of transformations within my own career, starts from the top. So it's important to understand what this means for top leader, the leader of the organization, who's leading that. It could be a CEO or a business unit head or whosoever is leading that business. What are his thoughts around this concept? What is his milestone to achieve is very important. Now, second part, once you understood that, what he feels for it, uh, you need to have a communication to his direct reports, who are typically, you can say, CXO, C-suite bracket of organization. It's important that that bit is in the game with him. To get that, you need to get people into, and I have tried that, getting into people into one room, or typically getting them on one table, and making them understand how their goals could be better achieved, uh, with this mission, right? Eventually people are there to achieve their own goals, and how as an organization we would be able to achieve our goals better with this on is very important. So I think that investment has to be made in terms of getting the uh, entire leadership completely onboarded. Journey doesn't end there, because you can easily say that they get into the room on one day and remember it till third day, and fourth day everything is forgotten, because you get into the regular business after that. It is important that uh, you know 1 year, 2 year, 3 year milestones are created, goals are set, which are in line with the business goals, and those goals are measured at very regular intervals. Uh, this core team meets very regularly and is also reviewed at the end of the year in terms of where it has reached as a team. Such practices, I feel, cannot be handled in isolation. So these practices should be equally contributed by a group of people who could come together and make a change here, right? And this change could be very different. It could bring in a lot of collaborated effort by leaders, in bringing that particular thing out. So it is not about HR, or it's not about marketing, it's not about finance. And then we see how change is able to percolate down the line through each of those leaders and leadership groups. And then you know uh, we can see how it can be seen as gradually creating a change in the organization. uh, you know Coming from a manufacturing dominated organization, it's very important that uh, it is well percolated down in the processes. That's why the product and the systems will show that. So I think it has to start from the top and then go down there.
So how do you see as a HR leader? Because the culture is not only the responsibility of HR. Everyone is responsible for this, but somehow the HR takes the initiative for this and influence the entire leadership for the culture building. So how as a HR leader you think how influence the leadership to create a culture which is incorporating the ESG practices.
I think it should be, you should have a regular communication and also involve the leadership team in different reward and recognition where you demonstrate, okay, you demonstrate this part so that they also inculcate and start practicing. So this is what I think everyone should do. And also you should fix a budget for each department or in leadership. In case of R&R activities, you should encourage them to give gifts on the spot awards which are uh, environmental friendly. And
Right.
also the working place where you work. We have got a vendor who has made our offices and working stations full green, and they take care of the maintenance. So whenever people they enter, they feel a different charm in the office.
One thing what I'd like to highlight here, well collaborated and well communicated from top to down. So that is very important here. Uh, as for the communication of policies or the communication of the practices is concerned, so this is also a challenge. Apart from this, what do you see that what are the other challenges generally when we talk about the incorporation of ESG practices?
I think the biggest one I have seen the challenge is that at the beginning of the year, when you set your budgets, when you set your goals, certain things are not discussed and they become very important during the year. And it can be a big of disaster when things are not supported, either financially or in terms of time or in terms of effort. So I think it's very important that in the beginning, whether we start a calendar year or a financial year, a quarter before, the goals are clearly set along with the business goals, and accordingly uh, the incorporation of the budget, incorporation of the broad objectives, uh, incorporation of you know performance objectives are linked to this, so that there is a clear understanding that your objectives have to be achieved in a certain way, because you can really go out and achieve objectives the way you want, but this is the way to do, and this is the way forward has to be brought in there. Like I said, including recruitment, onboarding becomes a very important tool where you get people assimilate, and if people are joining from outside, especially at mid to senior level, are completely made aware of this as one of the ethos that you follow. Long time back, there was a quality practice which we had carried out, and I'm remembering that at the beginning of every meeting, you start with a statement how you are making a difference into this area. That was mandatory. So you kind of, and that was for quality, I remember, and every meeting would start with that topic, and typically, it became a part of life. So you didn't need to put a poster on the wall or to reiterate that, because every meeting you reiterated how you are making a difference rather than a global statement around that. I think it's a very important piece. We could make a mandate that people, when they kickstart a meeting, they take those 2 or 5 minutes to just delve into this topic and see, how we are doing it. What are we doing? How are we making a difference to this? I think this is something which can really make a difference. Employee communication forums, which are happening in terms of either town halls or uh, whether award nights, or could talk of this as one of the critical practices. Small projects, cross functional, could be created, again led by the leadership on the top, could also help in reiterating this. when we create team members who are really enthusiastic about this, apart voluntarily being part of it, to be able to lead it. So some of these ways you can really make a lot of difference in bringing the change gradually, slowly, followed by the leadership, which I said, leadership alignment, which is very, very critical, because without which this is bound to fail.
No, absolutely. You have, highlighted very important points that budget, that is sometimes, very challenging thing. So budget, that should be very clear also. And goals, what are your goals? So that should be very defined and that should be well communicated to everyone. So these are very important challenges I think you have highlighted here. And communication, of course. So how you communicate the policy, how you communicate the practices, that is very important. So would you like to share any of your story that you have taken the initiative of PSG practices and how has been the experience? What has been the outcome of this?
Actually, post-COVID, when everybody was trying to go for the machines in the offices and take machines for what to say, pure air. So we made our office place green. We went to a contractor and he is taking care and maintenance, so that part is taken care by the plantation and small plants around in and around the offices, and you don't have to buy machines to have a pure air. So this initiative was very successful, and he is now also adoptable in different subsidiaries and companies of the group.
Now, I'm coming to another, that is little contradictory as well. When we are talking about the AI, we are talking about some automation, we are talking about some remote working. So AI also creates some carbon footprint, and we are automating all of the process, even in recruitment, talent acquisition. We are using lots of AI for the different systems. So how do you see this automation AI? It is helping into the ESG part.
I think let me not segregate automation separately, because automation is a part of your enabling of this, and in all fields we are continuously improving and bringing automation. How I could see a reduction of carbon footprints by automation, we could say reduced paper use, and uh, even manpower efficiency could be brought in. uh, a work which was done by 5 people now being done by 2 or 3. uh, Environmental regulations could be very well cited through automation, and you could have automated tools where something is not allowed, it is not. uh, I We are also looking at car lease policy, leasing out cars which are EVs with a better lease plan, and some of these practices can help you to regulate this faster, showing benefits and giving benefits to employees for that. I did talk of efficiency of resources, minimizing waste of any sort can bring in financial performance and efficiency. Reduction of operational expenses could be one. Uh, I think when you do a good deed, people feel connected. You could really look at people coming together and making a change, people together in the journey. People feel good about it, that we are conscious about this. Brings in more employee morale and boost that. Eventually, this works on building employer brand for organization. Uh, Also, I feel that all this work helps you in developing a culture of responsibility, right? People feel more responsible to the environment and organization, that slowly and steadily this works towards it. Again, followed by communication, regular employee forums, or you can do it through intranet, web, you know, uh, communication over mailer, all also on the LinkedIn, that you can keep citing examples of how you're making a difference to the organization, to the environment. So I think gets you you know going big in terms of your objective, slowly and steadily, without crashing it.
So, Gurdeep, as I asked to Vikasji that AI, when we're talking about the AI and a lot of, we are using the software of AI, maybe in talent acquisition itself. But AI also create some carbon footprint. So how it is helping into the HR, how it is helping into the ESG practices?
AI-based AI tools for resource efficient workplace planning and employee behavior analysis. I think this is what the future is of green HR. Okay, technology is powerful enable for sustaining HR practices, and and what I feel is if you balance this with the plantation around your workplace, and then they take care of the emission, that what you call a carbon coming out of these AI tools.
Any of initiative would like to share from the scratch how you started this any of green HR practices and what has been the outcome of that particular ESG practices and what has been the challenges and anything related to the story.
Uh, Practice of typically a tree plantation drive, right, across our plants, because there's a lot of wasteland around that. And typically, I'm talking of my current experience and my past experience with another chemical industry. So I think that whole upgradation of that wasteland could bring in a big change, in the environment by bringing in more trees, right? And that was something a low hanging fruit. Any new leader who joins is supposed to plant a tree in his name, right? Tree plantation on birthdays of employees, right? I'm just talking of some of the areas that you could touch with tree plantation, and not only linking tree plantation only to tree plantation, but linking it to an employee onboarding. Senior employees who are onboarded, their trees are planted. Person who crosses 5 years, a tree is planted. We started this practice in my last organization to gift. Every new joiner is gifted with a new tree, a plant, right? And that person has to plant that tree. So I think all in all, different ways of communicating this across. Second is when you look at chemical industry wastelands, I used to be able to get more trees around. Uh, we got into cumulative, especially for plants, we got into carpooling. When people used to travel to, there are a lot of people who travel to plants for multiple reasons, right? Why not collaborate at the office and then get them into one vehicle? Builds that 1.5 2 hours of journey also together, and then avoids 5 vehicles or 4 vehicles to go, rather than that one vehicle carrying everybody. Multiple angles like this were taken. Company sponsored vehicles were organized for employees who are in the plants which are slightly away from cities, so that they are not multiple channels of travel which has created. uh, I think another way which was very big enough to make a difference was how much of environmental uh, safety factor which people have bring in. We brought that ESF into the KPIs and looked at how these initiatives which are run. So we had about 8 to 10 initiatives across plants, and how much of difference they have made, in terms of that. So that was also calculated and published in terms of these ESFs, and then these are kind of recognized towards the end of the year. Some of these initiatives really helped us to play it very softly, but play it hard in front of people and then look at how they could respond to it. And this is how a way to reiterate also learning.
So green HR, that is eco-friendly practices incorporating into the HR function. That is the green HR. And as we have discussed about the trend, so trend is increasing day by day, as we have done also the study on this. Around 70 to 80% of the organizations, they are incorporating the ESG practices to their HR functions. So that is no doubt that ESG is coming into the main HR stream. Thank you so much, Gurdeep ji and Vikas ji, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.